Welcome, Fly Tribe, and welcome to the Painful Truth podcast, where we will dive deep into uncomfortable topics that will help us grow as an aerial athlete. Are you ready? Let's go. Pull-ups should be easy for aerialists. No lie. So welcome to the Painful Truth and the episode of how I made my pull-ups come back. And guys, before I continue on with this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're listening to this on YouTube. Hit the bell there so that you get the notification when I drop another episode. And let's get back to it, guys. All right. Welcome, Fly Tribe, and welcome to the Painful Truth. And welcome to this week's episode of how I made my pull-ups come back. And I have to tell you, all of my life, the upper body has always been my thing. What about you guys? Is it your legs, your upper body, or maybe nothing at all, right? I can just say that for some reason, I really always loved working out my upper body. It was easy for me. I think that's why it was easy for me being a rock climber and being successful at that, as well as being successful with aerial. But let me back up just a little bit here and kind of go through this little backstory. Some of you guys know a little bit about my carjacking. So I was actually literally carjacked during the last job I was working as an aerialist. And this was in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So it's literally ultimately what ended my performing career and setting me off into this massive, deep, dark depression. And it was almost like self-sabotage came upon me and literally took over my soul. And let me back up just a little bit more. So I was working for a couple of circus shows in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we were living in the casino. And this is where we were working. One of the shows was inside the casino at night, the late night show, and one of the shows was like a family show in the big tent outside of the casino. And so after our late show, I would eat and then hit the bed. And I really loved nothing more than to get up early and to take advantage of the spa that we had access to. And I usually always had it by myself because no one took advantage of it. And it was amazing. It was like this aromatherapy room that had this therapy pool in it that was like a massive, it wasn't a hot tub. It was like between a hot tub and a pool that was like warm. And so it was just amazing to be able to go in there and do yoga, and I could get in the pool and stretch out my body in warm water. And while getting the aromatherapy, it was like eucalyptus. It was amazing. So, and then of course we had free access to the buffet. So, I loved nothing more than to just do self-care. That's just kind of how I lived my life. I ate really well. I treated my body really well because performing all of those hours and all of those days is not easy on the body. And I actually was one that really liked taking care of my body. I could never understand those performers that could go off and get drunk and, party all night and all this and all that. I just could never do that and feel okay to perform at my optimum level. But needless to say, we were living in the casino, and after the late shows, I would go and eat. We would all go and eat in the buffet and enjoy that. And then literally I would just go to the room and we had roommates. And my roommate, I'll be honest, she was a drunk. And after the shows, she would actually go down into the casino and get drunk. And around 4 or 5 in the morning, she would show up in the room with a different guy every night. And this would wake me up. Finally, I had to tell her to stop. This actually was where I met the person who would later carjack me. This person groomed me into thinking he was my friend, and of course I let my guard down and he tried to take me, and I am assuming, I'm not sure, but I'll get to that here in a minute. But I'll have to say this confusion is what set me on a path of closure. And because I'm just that type of person who needs closure to be able to move on. I wish I was not that way. I wish I could just move on because this path kind of set me down, you know, it was a dark path. But this is where I found out that this person was a human trafficker. Needless to say, a very, very short story in which I'll tell my full testimony in a different video, in which I already actually have a video of my full testimony, and I'll link that in this profile of the YouTube video. So wherever you're listening to this, my full testimony of this carjacking will be linked in the YouTube profile of this video if you want to listen to that. But being carjacked literally changed my entire soul. It changed the way I looked. Interesting. It's really interesting how trauma can literally morph someone's entire being. Even your features of your face, your body, everything. The darkest depression ever completely took over my life. And it took 5 years to heal. Because the injuries I sustained during the carjacking, I was literally unable to go back to work as a performer. I believe this is really truly what set me off into the deepest dark depression, because of my chronic pain that I was in. See, when I was carjacked, I got beat up pretty good because I had to fight for my life. And if I wasn't so agile and so strong and so persistent as a person, I'm not so sure if I would have gotten out of that car. But you know, I kind of go into detail about that in my full testimony. But so it really was, I think, because I've mulled over this a lot throughout my depression, throughout the last 6 or so years, of why I fell into such a deep depression, and I really do think it was the chronic pain that I was in. Because when you're in so much pain, literally it changes who you are, and it literally it takes over your entire life, and that's all that consumes you. Your physical being literally changes and your soul changes when you have chronic pain. It's something that I literally don't wish upon my worst enemy. I just don't. But so needless to say, I began to self-sabotage and to most people this sounds stupid. But for me, someone who really took care of myself and who it took literally, when I say this, it literally took blood, sweat, and tears to get where I was as a performer. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are listening to this know exactly what I'm talking about. So self-sabotage, like I was eating cookies and chips and Coke and drinking Cokes and smoking. I started smoking cigarettes, which is so ridiculous because this is something that I had to condition myself into doing, okay? I had to like make myself smoke cigarettes. It was like so terrible. You know, it's just interesting how you can be so down that you can like literally self-sabotage in this way. And doing literally everything that was in the bane of my existence before, right? Which you can only imagine, all of those substances were only making my issues worse with the inflammation, right? Than it was causing in my body. But I could not stop self-sabotaging. It was ridiculous. I was also feeling a sense of failure, I'll be honest. And I felt that I had failed in my career, which now looking back is sad. That is so sad, because I don't look now as if I failed. I don't see that. But at the time, and for a very long time, I really felt like I had failed in my career and just as a person. And I had to resort back to waiting tables, which, disclaimer, there is nothing wrong with waiting tables, okay? And this is where my perception was just very misconstrued at the time, and I was very just like, I don't know, after being on a stage of like 10, 20, 30,000 people praising your talents, and then you feel like you're regressing in life, you know? It's terrible to say that, but that is how I felt. And I was dealing with the deep, deep sense of confusion, like this confusion of how I could not understand how evil people could be. Because, you know, I was not raised in an area where we had to really deal with a lot of evilness, period. And that's why I have a whole new appreciation for where I'm from, and just for the world, period. This whole experience changed my perception of the world in a complete whole. It literally, you know, the confusion of how I could literally not understand how evil people could be. This is what woke me up to a lot of the terrible brainwashing we all have been through as a society, and how the justice system is not on our side. They are not on your side, not on my side. They are on their own agenda, okay? They're in cahoots together, okay? So skipping ahead in the story, I slowly began to gain weight, because during all of this debacle, even though I was self-sabotaging and eating like crap, I really wasn't eating a lot, I don't think. Like, I would just eat when I was hungry, which I would walk down to the convenience store, because, mind you, I didn't have my car there, you know, so I was relying on public transportation, and it just really wasn't, you know, and I wasn't working at the time either, so money wasn't coming in, and money wasn't really the issue, though, more than it was like the motivation. I just had no motivation to go to the grocery store, which was miles away, and you'd have to like take the jitney or the bus, which would take for hours, you know. And so yeah, I would just go to the convenience store, grab a bag of chips, grab a Pepsi, and be on my way with it. I still lost weight all the way down to a like size, what size was I then? At least a 2. I was at least a size 2. But mind you, I was losing a lot of muscle. A lot of muscle. And so it was almost like this balloon, like deflated. Oh my God, I can laugh about it now, thank God, right? We gotta laugh about it. We gotta laugh about it, guys. If we can't laugh about it, we gotta cry about it. And I've cried too long about it all. Time to laugh about it. But so just kind of going back to it. So I slowly began to like gain weight, because I actually finally was able to move back home, because I thought that I needed to stay there for the case, for the trial or whatever. Like, I'd never gone through anything like this. They didn't tell me what I needed to do. I was lost in every way. And I literally told myself that I could just not deal with anything, and that was okay, because everything that I was going through was, you know, on a grand scale. So I just basically allowed myself to basically eat whatever I wanted to. And this was when I first started Flying Fitness, opened up Flying Fitness, when I could barely walk, mind you, because of my injuries. So I was going through a lot of imposter syndrome as well, because here I am, I felt broken. I felt broken inside, in my mind, my body. I could hardly move, much less teach an aerial class or act like a professional aerialist, right? Oh my gosh. So there was a lot of times when I would literally teach class sitting. Or I had a stick that because I couldn't bend over, I had to like point or like tap on people's like, I would tap and be like, pull your shoulder down or, roll your, I should go back to that pointing system. I really liked that actually. But anyway, so yeah, I started to gain a lot of weight back, and I was going through, at that time was so grand, I was like, I don't care what I eat. So, and mind you, I had built my entire life on fitness and health, and it was my true passion. I have grown up trying to be healthy and fit and share it with everyone around me. So this was life-changing for me, and it felt shattering. It was shattering. It changed me. When I look back now, I wish I had been a little bit stronger. Or maybe I had someone more in my corner to kind of pick me up and kind of shove me to do better. Because allowing myself to fall off the rail so much just meant that I had so much to work on later. Because then I had developed all these habits like smoking cigarettes and eating and drinking Cokes and all this crap, right? So then I had to like break all these crazy habits. I knew how to take my life back though. And that's one thing I had for me. Thank God, right? But it was the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life because of the chronic pain. And no doctors were really helping a whole lot. No chiropractors were really helping. It was all helping a little bit, but I needed something drastic. And mind you, I didn't have the money to just be like, here, help me. Because I could not even get out of bed without excruciating pain, okay? I couldn't even roll in bed without crying and being in massive amounts of pain. I would have to literally lift up my pant leg and like hoist myself over to like roll me over. It was horrific. And I knew I was either going to die because of the pain of being in pain, or I was going to get better on my own. And guess what happened? I made a decision and I got better. But literally during that time, I had no use of my core and I was in dire need of some help. And things would be a lot easier if I had cash, right? I think anyway. So we think. Well, would it be different if I had more money? I don't know. Needless to say, I gained 30 pounds from this entire debacle, okay? And I lost a lot of muscle mass. And it's been 30 pounds that have been the hardest in my life to take off because I never really had to do that before. And because now at 40, things are not the same as they were even 5 years ago when this first happened. So I have to work that much harder and be that much more diligent with my goals and intentions and accomplishments. It hasn't been the easiest. It's been literally the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some pretty tough things in my life. So I know, and this was always my philosophy in circus. If I can do it, you can do it. Look, I lost my pull-ups probably a few years into this whole mess, right? And I have to tell you, I freaking loved doing pull-ups. Like I was an avid rock climber. Like I told you, like the upper body was my thing. I just freaking loved pulling up. And so it was easy for me. And after I was able to take off the 30 pounds, I just went up to do the pull-up bar at the studio and I did 6 pull-ups in a row. And I did it in aerial style in hollow body. Okay, and this was literally all from doing the Aerialist Ultimate Shred. This is that 4-week fat loss program that I designed. and literally for this exact reason, okay? To take off fat and become lighter again, okay? So, because I knew something had to change. I knew something had to change. And I was like, you know, there's got to be other people like me that cannot freaking pull up. And literally, if you just dropped 20, 30 pounds, not even that, even 10 pounds, oh my gosh, like it's an amazing difference. But I did the program and I actually did it for 8 weeks and I lost 30 pounds and almost half of my body fat. So I was actually really proud of myself because I honestly, I was shocked actually about the results because I was actually, I'd never done that before, but I had to do it to make sure I could make the promise of the results from the program. So I had to do it, and I had to do it to the T to make sure I could promise those results that I'm promising of the program. But I had to do it, you know. So anyway, I lost 30 pounds. I went straight up onto the pull-up bar. I did 6 pull-ups. I was flabbergasted and shocked, and I left wanting more so bad. So see, I used to be the queen of pull-ups, and I don't say that bragging, but I just have to say I love pull-ups, okay, like obsessively. And I even did a competition with a group of Marines once, and I literally won against all of them. And of course, I had amazing straight hollow body pull-ups. Okay, not those ugly military kicking style pull-ups, right? That was great. But let's kind of break down the pull-ups a little bit, okay? So, like I say, I love pull-ups, and therefore I love the muscles that come with that. So the latissimus dorsi, also known as the lats, they're one of my favorite muscles, along with the transverse abdominals. But I'll just kind of go through a list of muscles that you use for the pull-ups. So you're looking at your lats, which are also known as your wings, okay, your pulling muscles. Also your teres major, okay, your traps, your trapezius, which is the upper back, neck part. Your pecs, your pectoralis major. Your rhomboids, which are going to help with stabilizing. Your biceps, upper back, forearms, abdominals, okay? Forearms are really important in this as well as abdominals. Super, super, super important. But as an aerialist, these become like literally our main muscles as we are always using them to lift, right? So warming the pulling muscles up before training aerial is crucial for injury prevention and also for optimum performance from your muscles. Okay, so let me say that again, guys. So warming up these muscles before training is crucial for injury prevention and also crucial for your optimum performance from your muscles. So for most people, it's a matter of conditioning the hand grip and the skin. I always say if it wasn't for the hands, we could last longer. Because the bodies usually find it's the hands that give out more, and it's that burning feeling on the skin. It's just because you gotta toughen those the skin up, and just drill the skill, right? So hanging is tough on the hands, and hanging is tough on the hands, okay? And can take longer developing the grip than it does the actual pull-up position. The pull-up position, you may see all kinds of ways that people do them. I always encourage them to be done the aerial way though. And that's in that straight hollow body position that I'm always talking about. So when you're in that straight hollow body position, it makes you use and connect your entire core system and more muscles all together, like the whole time. So using the lats and the core to do the brunt of the lifting. Most people climb up, you know, those invisible stairs they have, or they kip up like they're in that CrossFitting competition, you know. Really good way to get injured there. But anyway, so hello, we are aerialist, okay, ding, ding, ding. And aerialists should always have control over their own body in a massive way. That's what's so cool about circus in a whole, I think. They're just super aware people, right? You're super aware of your body. You need to be. If you're not, you gotta check yourself. But when including the pull-ups in your exercise routine, it allows you to work multiple muscle groups. So many are under the impression that it's used mainly to develop like your biceps, but the exercise also works your shoulders, your back, your core, your arm muscle groups. So many, right? It's a compound exercise, and that's why it's so great. It's one of the best exercises for developing your back and your core. Oh my gosh. So your lateral muscles are used. So thinking about the main muscle worked to execute your pull-up is the latissimus dorsi, also known as your lats or your wings. Okay, those are those big muscles in your back, on your back, in the back, okay, which also happen to be one of my favorite muscles. The vital function of the lats is to bring the arms close to the body, bing, see, like your wing, but in the pulling up, you are moving your body in, okay, so, see that? So also your back muscles. So during a pull-up move, you work all of your upper back muscles simultaneously. It is one of the best exercises for your back muscles. It's hardcore. It's a hardcore exercise for anything. But the upper back muscles work in conjunction with the lats to complete a proper pull-up move. So you gotta have all those muscles to work together to make that movement happen. The muscles involved are the lower and the middle trapezius, the rhomboids, and the teres major, which are stabilizing muscles. The upper back muscles work harder with a wide grip pull-up. So you would do a wider grip, okay? So that's why it's important to work different grip in your pull-up. So you could do a narrow or like a regular grip basically, and a wide grip. So also like your triceps and your biceps. The bicep and tricep muscles, they work together as stabilizing muscles for this pull-up move. This is because the elbow flexing involved when using your biceps, but is not solely like responsible for like executing the actual pull-up movement, if you will. It's so it is like surprising to most to learn that the tricep muscles are involved with this exercise. This is because the tricep is attached to the humerus and the scapula, which means the muscle is also worked when flexing your elbow. Okay, so just in conjunction with that bicep when flexing the elbow. The forearm muscle, I have to say it's one of my also favorite muscles. It is just awesome for aerialist I have. So needed, right? Because when you got good forearm muscles, you're going to have a good grip. So with the pull-up exercise, you're going to use your forearm muscles extensively. Grasping your pull-up bar will immediately tighten the forearm muscles to grip the bar securely. So to maximize your pull-up workout, you can always increase the width of your bar. And as the thicker the bar, the more the forearm muscles will have to work. Okay? So like if you do dance trapeze, usually those trapezes are a little wider, especially if you're using a real wooden trapeze bar. So you can always even just train on something like that, doing your pull-ups. So you can also increase, I talked about the thickness of the bar, but also the forearm muscles will need to work more when you use a narrow grip. So a narrow grip pull-up means you place your hands closer together on the bar. So you would just do bing, bing, okay? Developing the forearm muscles, though, will help with the grip, definitely. So I know a lot of people have questions about how to improve grip strength. There's lots of exercises that you can do for your forearms, but one simple one is literally getting your broom and just doing under crunches with your wrist. And I know those that are on YouTube can see me doing this, but those that are just listening in on audio, just know that you can grab your broom, hold your arms out straight, and bring your hands down and back neutral, down and back neutral. And then you'll do it opposite, go up and then neutral, up and then neutral, because you'll also want to stay balanced, okay, and work all around that area. So of course, going into the abdominal muscles, which I love working my abdominal muscles in the pull-up, because I mean, you can really sculpt really nice abs with this exercise, and the abdominals work to stabilize in this pull-up. So also, the scapular and the shoulder stabilizers, literally like the whole full spectrum back there. Like I said, it's going to work your entire back. It's an amazing workout for that exercise, if you will. The rotator cuff muscles, which are like the teres minor and the infraspinatus. They pull your arms back. See, when the elbows are to the side. So using a wide neutral grip will require these muscles to work more, though. Just keep that in check there. So let's talk about a little bit about the benefits of pull-ups, because I have to just tell you, I love pull-ups. If you can't tell, pull-ups are one of my favorite things to do, always. Always and forever. Pull-ups are hard, though, and to get started at first, but once you increase your strength and technique, the pull-ups they're amazing, and they become a lot of fun to do. And really and truly, all aerialists should aspire to master at least 10 pull-ups, at the very least. It's kind of like a handstand. All great aerialists should know a basic handstand. All great aerialists should know and have perfect, straight, hollow body 10 pull-ups. I mean, that should be a requirement, okay? It helps to start with a negative pull-up, and it builds up as you improve your strength and technique, okay? So if you cannot do a pull-up, which most people cannot, they are tough, you can start with negatives. So that's when you lift yourself up and you slowly lower. Even if your toes are on like a chair or on a ledge or something and you're hanging, and you slowly lower it, but keep your feet on the ledge. That's okay until you can dead hang, shoulder shrug up, hollow body hang. There's a whole progression there that later on I'd love to get into. So, and not in this episode, but later on, I'll bring that up sometime later. But always begin with the correct technique position, which is the flying hollow body, like what I was saying. And it takes mastery, guys. This takes mastery in itself, like I said. It takes a whole progression, whole training, drilling those skills. It can be extremely tedious. So a lot of corrections in the body to master the move. And when that word tedious comes up, you already know it's not going to be a lot of people's friend. And that's why a lot of people are good, but a lot of people aren't great. It's because a lot of people don't want to go through those tedious skills and techniques and drills. They would rather do the fun things all the time. Hey guys, just a reminder to hit that bell so that you're the first to get the notifications when I drop a new episode of The Painful Truth. And if you guys have something that you'd like me to talk about, I know some of these conversations can get uncomfortable, so don't be afraid to get uncomfortable, and you can drop it in the comments below. All right, guys, let's get into it. So here are some benefits of pull-ups. Okay, we're just gonna go through a handful of them. So like I was saying before, it's a compound exercise, and so because that's a compound exercise, you're able to work several muscles at the same time, which kind of, you know, kills a bird, like a couple birds with one stone type of deal. So that's pretty great. So strengthening your grip, that's excellent for aerialists, as we all know. I always know, like when I was performing especially, I had to do at least 10 pull-ups every day, like just to feel okay. It was kind of like climbing up the fabric. I had to do a couple of climbs on each side every day just to feel like I wasn't a sack of potatoes all the time. So it helps to improve your posture and your back muscle strength. So when we have improved posture, we actually have honestly, we just live a better life. When we have poor posture, you might feel like crap now, but later on, you will definitely feel like crap, okay? So the convenience and the versatility of this exercise, and I do really love this because, and I always tell people, even if you don't have access to like an aerial silk or aerial trapeze or a pull-up bar or whatever the case may be, you can usually always find a playground around the corner or down the street or wherever, and they have a monkey bar. And you can always train there. I can't tell you how many times we have trained at parks, because when I performed, there weren't a lot of aerial studios around at all. So also there's many variations for this exercise, and that kind of goes into like just like the versatility of it and everything, and how it's a compound exercise. So it's kind of nice that there's variations to this exercise, and how it translates so much into what we do as aerialists. So we will go through a couple of these points, and like a compound exercise for a full workout, an exercise using, like I said, more muscle groups or joints at the same time, that's the compound exercise. Compound exercises, they use maximum amount of muscle fibers and will help you gain muscle mass rapidly. And so that's kind of like what we're looking for there with the compound exercise. We're looking for it to kind of maximize the muscle fibers so that we can maximize and rapidly gain more muscle mass. During a pull-up exercise, you will use and work all of your back, your chest, so you'll get a really nice chest, arms, your shoulder muscles, as well as your core, your abdominals, all at the same time, simultaneously. And because of this simultaneous action, that's why pull-ups are one of the best exercises to do for learning how to connect your body. And the reason why it's so important to connect your body as an aerialist is to prevent your injuries. You don't want to look all loosey-goosey up there in the sky. You want to be able to connect your body and have control of your body and execute skills in a professional, technical way. And that's what's going to help you last for longevity and not just the moment, guys. That's really what you should aim for. because you don't want to be like me at 40 and not be able to do aerial anymore because it hurts your body so much. You want to be able to do these things in progression and do it correctly and be mindful so that you can last for longevity. Okay? Mind you, if I had not gotten carjacked, I'd still be doing aerial. Okay? Now I can only teach it and do aerial fitness. That's another story. But so strengthening your grip, pull-ups are amazing to strengthen your back, your arms, like I said. But improving the strength of your grip, a strong grip is helpful for for aerialists. We all know that. The pull-up exercise helps you to develop strong and powerful forearms. What do the forearms help with? Forearms help with grip, as well as your fingers. So aerialists, I think they forget about the fingers. So as a rock climber, we would always do finger pull-ups. We would always train finger pull-ups. When you don't have a fingerboard, you can use the top of a door. And that's a really great fingerboard right there. But I suggest working your finger strength as well. There's lots of different ways you can work your finger strength. You can even get a rubber band, and put them around your fingers and just go in and out. So lots of things you can do for your finger strength as well. So literally, as you can see, the pull-up is simply an aerialist's best friend. Not diamonds, but pull-ups. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, guys, on how I made my pull-ups come back. And just to recap, it was pretty simple. I lost 30 pounds, okay? What a concept, right? No, there was a lot more into it than that. But if y'all would like to check out the Aerialist Ultimate Shred, you can always check that out in the bio. You can always access it through our bio link in our Instagram page and through our YouTube page. That is a 4-week fat loss program that's also going to help you build muscle and strength. If you found this episode, guys, helpful, pass it along to your aerial buddy that could also benefit from this as well. And don't forget to tag me at flying.fitnesstx on Instagram for a chance to win the Aerialist Ultimate Shred or another one of our online programs. But until then, Fly Tribe, keep on hanging and peace and pull-ups. We'll see you soon.